I was going to do a video on John Paul II's Veritatis Splendor, but I realized I need to do a little background first. And that's because Veritatis Splendor is based on the belief that Catholic doctrine can develop, which was specifically condemned by the First Vatican Council. So I'm going to do two videos on the topic before returning to JP2. I've done a video on the development of doctrine in the past, providing citations for the magisterium, how it is not compatible with Catholicism, so this is not a standalone video. This video is based on the March 25, 1831 article that appeared in the Catholic press and was called Faith Unchangeable. The article illustrates how thinking in the Novus Ordo Church has changed so incredibly much after it legitimatized Cardinal Newman's novelty that Catholic doctrine can change and develop. This change gave them a blank check to make any changes that they saw fit. The article reminds us that everything that is not God is imperfect. Since the things of this world are imperfect, they can be improved so that those things might get closer to perfection, though nothing in this world is capable of true perfection. The article asks, is it the same thing with religion? Are we permitted to believe that, like science and technology, religion can improve? The article, written in 1831, notes that the Protestants, though they might not admit it, are susceptible to this way of thinking. This is exemplified by the fact that they are continually creating new sects, which they believe are improvements on the old ones. Every established Protestant sect has changed its beliefs over time. The sects are constantly shuffling the deck and are in a process of what they consider reformation. So it was the Protestants and not the Catholics who believed that doctrines could develop. Please recall that the target audience for Newman's development of doctrine was Protestants. However, the article notes that true religion is a reflection of God's revelation. It consists of the truths that Jesus Christ came from heaven to teach, which his apostles preached, and the first Christians received. Therefore, the Catholic religion is not a human institution or invention. It is not imperfect or incomplete. Scripture tells us that as he was dying, Jesus said, "It is consummated." Jesus fulfilled the old law and completed public revelation. He sent his apostles out to preach to the nations with a broad and unlimited commission. He told them, "The Spirit of truth is come. He will teach you all truth." So Jesus taught the apostles truth, and truth does not change. That truth has been handed down to us through the Church, which is the sacred depository of the faith. So what then can strength of intellect or extent of knowledge do either to enlarge or contract the fixed dimensions of Catholic doctrines? The article tells us that even the greatest of theologians are lost in any attempt to fully fathom the mysteries of the Catholic faith. The article asks, does it not follow that he who wishes to profess Christianity, pure and unchanged, must not depend on the strength of his intellect or the extent of his knowledge, or the intellect and knowledge of other persons, but must receive the Church's doctrines as they were originally given and have been transmitted to our times? The truths of religion aren't like those of technology or science, which are discoverable by genius and breakthroughs. Religion is necessarily traditional. Catholicism is a hereditary faith. True religion is found in the Church and the unbroken successors of the apostles. No one can improve upon truth. The Catholic Church does not create new doctrines. At various times she does define a doctrine to be believed by all the faithful. And in doing so, she declares infallibly that this belief is part of the original revelation taught by Jesus Christ and the 12 apostles. But the doctrines of Jesus Christ do, and will to the end of time, remain the same, neither more nor less, unchanged and unchangeable. In this point of view, the progress of science and the march of intellect have nothing to do with the faith of a Christian. In our present state, it would be rash and impious to strive to add or subtract from the revelation which God in his sovereign wisdom has deigned to grant us. This is a view which carries with it the evidence of its truth, and must win the assent of the well-constituted and unbiased mind, for it is a mere statement of fact. But how different is the language of the Protestants. According to them, at least their most eminent divines, religion is much better understood at the present day than it ever was before. So if you believe that Catholic doctrine can develop, you must necessarily believe that the early Christians were not fully enlightened in the truths of Christianity. You must believe that they were not in possession of the pure doctrines of Jesus Christ. And if you believe that Catholic doctrine can develop, you are like the Protestants and have deviated from truth, and adulterated or rejected their doctrines. If you believe that the apostles were preaching undeveloped and incomplete doctrines, how can you even rely on their writings? On the other hand, if the Catholic faith is a revelation from God and is unchanged and unchangeable, then we can rely on the early church fathers to define our doctrines. He whose creed differs from that which is held and transmitted by the apostles does not believe the revealed truths of God. Imperfection and change belong to man and not to God. The priest who wrote this article ascribed the development of doctrine to Protestants and cited it as an error. He did this long before Cardinal Newman ever came along. So it probably isn't a surprise that the target audience of Newman's development of doctrine was Protestants. He was trying to explain Catholic doctrines in a language that Protestants might find more palatable. What he called development of doctrine was a way to explain how expressions and devotions seem to develop from what is present in Scripture. For Catholics, no explanation like this was ever necessary. For what is present in tradition has always been a core part of the faith and a part of the sacred depository of the faith. Doctrines have been passed down from the early church fathers, and only devotions and expressions of existing doctrines have developed. Development of doctrine is a Protestant belief. It's not Catholic. So let's make this a little more interesting. If you don't agree with me, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. If you think Catholic doctrine has developed, please list the doctrines down below in the comments section. In the next video, I'll take the top 5 proposed developed doctrines and address those. And I'll show how the preconciliar church took great care to explain how the doctrines were always part of the faith and did not develop. It was only with the Second Vatican Council that wholesale changes were made to Catholic teachings, and the Novus Ordo Church ran for cover under Newman's development of doctrine to explain away those changes. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back again within a week with another one. But in the meantime, please check out my Facebook page and my Twitter page. Every day I post additional content that you won't find on this YouTube channel. And also, please pray for the church.